We welcome you to another lesson from GOCC Houston. I'm your brother, Dawayad Yasha'Allah, and here with me,
Matazaki Hawada.
And right now we're going to give you a lesson on the image of the Most High God, His dear Son Christ, as well as the angels and Adam and anybody else we can squeeze in there, because it's a lot of misunderstandings going around about how the church portrays the image of Christ and the image of the Most High God and all the prophets, you know, Moses, Isaiah, Jeremiah, John, and so on and so forth. So without any further ado, let's start out with John 7:38. And follow along with your King James versions.
St. John.
St. John 7:38. If you got your King James, please, we encourage you to follow along. We read out of the King James version because it's the closest to the Hebrew translation. Read on when you got it, Doc. Chapter and verse.
St. John 7:38.
Read.
He that believeth on me, as the scripture hath said, out of his body shall flow rivers of living water.
Christ is telling you. Now, if you got a red letter Bible, you'll know this is Christ's words. He's telling you, he that believeth on me, as the scriptures have said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. Meaning that he who believeth on Christ, according to these scriptures, you're going to speak the truth according to Christ. Right?
That's right.
Let's see. Give me Revelation chapter 1, verse 13. We're going to find out today the true image of the Most High and His Son Christ.
This is Revelations chapter 1, verse 13.
Read on, Ak.
And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like the sun unto the Son of Man.
One like the Son of Man. You know this is describing the Son, Jesus Christ. Read on.
Clothed with a garment down to the foot.
It lets you know that the Most High God, His Son, had a garment down to the foot, a priestly garment, down to the foot, covering His whole body. Read on.
And a girt about the paps with a golden girdle.
He had a golden girdle, something similar to what you see on these WWF so-called professional wrestlers. They have the golden wrestling champion belt. They stole that from the image of the Most High God's Son, whom you ignorantly call Jesus Christ. Read on.
His head and his hairs were white like wool.
His head, meaning the hairs on his head and the hairs on his face, were white like wool. Now that's not talking about the color. It's actually talking about the texture of his hair, which was white like wool. Kind of like similar to what you see on my face, Brother Dawayad Yasha'Allah. Similar to so-called Negro, so-called African American, so-called black man, you know, in America today. Read on.
As white as snow.
And also, it was white as snow, meaning Christ had hair like wool, as white as snow, like a middle-aged man who's, you know, beginning to go gray on his head and on his facial hairs. Read on.
And his eyes were as a flame of fire.
Read on.
And his feet like unto fine brass.
And John is describing how his feet look. Because remember, he had on a priestly garment down to the foot, and he's bowing down to the Son of the Most High God. And his feet look like what? Read that part again.
And his feet like unto fine brass.
And his feet like fine brass. Now we all know what brass looks like. It's different shades of brown. But there's something that describes this brass in tune that sets him apart from the other shades of brown. Read on.
As if they burned in a furnace.
As if they what?
As if they burned in a furnace.
As if they what?
As if they burned in a furnace.
Christ had skin tone like the so-called African American, the so-called Negro dwelling in the ghettos of America today. Now, a lot of you might think that, oh, it's not talking about his complexion when it says like unto fine brass. It's not talking about the color of his skin. Let's see. Brother Matazat, go to Daniel chapter 10, verse 5. We're going to get some understanding today. We're going to clear up all the confusion because this is important. Read on.
Daniel chapter 10, verse 5.
Read, Doc.
Then I lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold of Uphaz.
You know it's talking about the son because he's talking about his golden girdle. He's covered in linen. Read on.
His body also was like the beryl, and his face as the
His body is like the beryl, meaning he had on a green garment. His whole body, meaning he had the priestly garment down to the foot. Now remember, he had on a green colored garment. Read on.
And his face as the appearance of lightning.
Read.
And his eyes as lamps of fire. And his arms and his feet like in color to
his
polish.
arms and his feet like in what?
Like into color.
Like in what?
Like in color.
Like in color. His arms and his feet like in color to what, Hebrew?
To polished brass.
To polished brass. There's a precept for you. Mark that down. Daniel chapter 10, verse 5 and verse 6. This is the image of the Son. Now, for those of you who want to know how the Father looks, give me Daniel, stay in the same book and give me chapter 7 and verse 9. Because a lot of people say, oh, God is a spirit. He doesn't have a body. He doesn't have a flesh. Oh, really? He has a son? What type of man has a son and he don't look like him? Let's see. Read on, Hebrew.
Daniel chapter 7, verse 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down.
Daniel is seeing this vision, and he saw it until these thrones of these beasts, the four beasts that Daniel talks about, which we're going to get into in another study. He saw until these thrones were cast down. And what did he see? Read on, Hebrew.
And the ancients of days did sit.
And the ancient of days did sit, meaning the Most High God did sit. Read on.
Whose garment was white as snow.
Oh, so you mean to tell me the Most High has a body? He had a garment on as white as snow. Why would he have a garment if he didn't have a body? He has a garment on as white as snow. Right. Read on, Hebrew.
And the hair of his head like the pure wool.
And the hairs of his head like pure wool. Get a good look. Get a good look. Like pure wool. Let you know the Most High God sits on the throne with an afro of pure wool. And so a lot of people might wonder, like, what does this mean? And it's talking symbolically. Oh, really? It's talking symbolically? Let's see. Go to, give me in the New Testament. Give me St. John chapter 14 and verse 7. We're going to clear it up for you today. Ain't going to be no more confusion after this video. So take notes.
St. John.
Read on, Hebrew.
Chapter 14, verse 7. If ye had known me, ye should have known my Father also.
Christ is saying, if you know me, you know my Father. Read on, Hebrew.
And from henceforth ye know him, and have seen him.
And have seen him. Christ is telling Philip, if you know me and you seen me, then you seen the Father. Read on.
Philip saith unto him, Lord, show us the Father, and it suffice us.
Philip is telling Christ, show us the Father, man, and I'll leave you alone. I'll be satisfied. Read on.
Jesus saith unto him, have I been with you so long time with you, and yet hast thou not known me?
And Christ is telling Philip, man, I've been with you this long, and you still don't know me? Read on.
Philip, he that hath seen me hath seen the Father.
Christ is telling Philip, he that hath seen me has seen the Father. What type of man have a son and his son don't look like him? Read on.
And how sayest thou then, show us the Father?
Read.
Believest that not that I am in the Father, and the Father in me?
Meaning I'm in the Father and the Father is in me. Meaning I come from my Father. My Father and I are on one accord. Now that you know how the Most High God looked and that his son looks just like him, you're probably saying, well, that's not enough. I'm still not convinced. Give me one more precept on that. Go to Colossians 1 and 13. Let's stop right there.